What's up, guys?
It's Mr. Worldwide. Sorry, it's Omar.
And I'm Paul, and this is the Back on Track podcast. Today, we're gonna be talking about relationships. We're gonna go through a bunch of different stuff. We're gonna talk about having accountability in it, what we did right in our past ones, what we did wrong in our past ones, where we're at today, and everything in between. So, we can get into it. You want to talk about any of your, I guess, your longest relationship?
uh, I'm gonna let you talk about that
All
first.
right, cool. All right,
I'm gonna put
well,
you on the spot.
no, that's fine. Man, the amount of stories I've told about this stuff, man. So it's good. So for me, my longest relationship was on and off for a total like 5 years or so, and then the last like year and a half to 2 years were like steady. It was a I got into it at a very unstable place in my life personally, because some people I know have talked to me about this, but my dad went through a real bad depression when his mother died, my grandmother, and it ended up kind of taking him out of my life for a bit, and that left an actual like a deep like hole in me that I was trying to fill with people, addictions, whatever, not drugs, nothing like that, but just like obsessions, whatever that would keep my mind from floating and like dealing with my own problems. So I had a long string of basically from I'd say like eighth to ninth grade all the way up until I got in the military. Like I just for some reason had to be in a relationship. But this specific one started end of freshman year, beginning of sophomore year of high school. And so I'm just talking about like the good things, some of the bad things, whatever. And flowing there again. We're not gonna put nobody out there, nothing. But so for me, it was, and you can tell me if you feel the same way too. Like when you look back on your relationships, do you tend to like initially remember like most of the good things?
Yeah,
Yeah, for me, like,
definitely.
and
Yeah.
you end up missing it, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And me personally, like I always end up getting like that. I don't know if it's when I'm starting to feel lonely or what. Like if I just I'm feel like I start getting complacent, throwing it back to the slumps. If I'm starting to get a slump, man, like I start dwelling on a lot of that stuff.
Nah, I do too. I completely understand that for real.
Yeah. No, I think everyone does, man. I think that's like the trap of like why everyone always goes back to like the ex that they're comfortable with, even if it's not like great for them.
hmm
Yeah. But but no, so I mean it was on and off. We were both real young, obviously, early in high school. Not a lot of experience with relationships. Not that anyone had it back then. But it was it was one of those things where we both went through a lot of like heavy shit in our childhood in different ways, in very different ways. But we both had unprocessed like trauma and whatnot. And she actually mentioned it the other like we were talking a while back. She said we were trauma bonded, and that
Mm.
was like a both of us just trying to, I guess, when you feel like you're drowning and you're just trying to like tread water and you're gasping for air, when you're going through that with somebody, you end up like building that connection.
hmm
But no, it was, I mean, it was a good relationship for what it was, man. I mean, I grew so much. We had a lot of ups, a lot of downs, a lot of just steady in betweens. And I think one of the biggest downfalls of that, which I think is actually like pretty common for high school relationships, was that transition from high school to college too. Because the steady part was at the end when
hmm
I was in my freshman year of college and she was in her senior year of high school. So we went from spending crazy amounts of time together because I mean outside of like sports, work, and school, like we were always together.
hmm
And then when I started going to college and I wasn't at Denby no more, we didn't have all that time together because I was going to different schools on a different schedule. I was working two jobs at the time and going to school full time. So that kind of weighed a lot on our relationship. And towards the end of it, what ended up happening was we we had some issues when I went on a work trip, and I think that was kind of like the climax of where the issues really like hit the breaking point, and everything started going downhill because it was for her. I think it was a lot of again that change, that difference in the relationship dynamic to, and this is one of those things where we're going to talk about it later too, the accountability part. One thing that
hmm
I got to take accountability for is that I for some reason just expected her to be able to like cope with that change dynamic the same way I was doing it,
hmm
without really considering like how heavy that must have been on her. And how she might have been like isolated because even though I was out doing all this stuff working, like again when we hung out, it was like the only time that she was really hanging out. I was the majority of her, I guess, social group at that point, and I took up most of her time. So when I started pulling away, just by life happening, it left a big gap in her day and her like daily life routines and whatnot. So that's something that I could have dealt with better and been a little bit more like aware of and considerate of.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, for what it was, man, like I don't regret nothing. It was a great experience. I said, I mean, the highest highs, some of the lowest lows, but
Mhm.
I wouldn't take it back for nothing.
Okay. All right. So should I talk about myself now?
Whatever you got,
All
man.
right. So let me get this out of the way. First of all, I don't do like relationships a lot. So like my longest is only a year and some change. Man, for me, the long term thing just I don't know. It just really wasn't for me. But with that one specific woman, uh, it was I don't know. I felt a bond to her, so I gave it a chance, and in the end, ended up getting cheated on. Yeah, she started messing with other. Yeah, and then that I took a long break after. Like, I just started dating again, like not too long ago.
So it was a
Probably
couple of years you took off then.
oh, more than a couple.
Yeah.
So like, all right. So the relationship started freshman year in college. So going back and forth for her. Like it was kind of on and off too.
Hmm.
But spent a lot of time with her. Being a freshman in college and away at school, had all the freedom in the world. the world.
Hmm.
So we spend a lot of time together. Uh, I would say because I know you talked about like what you could do better in a
Yeah.
relationship. So like I feel like probably a big part of it was I never took anything really serious because, like I said,
Okay.
I wasn't big on relationships, so like I take everything as a joke, and
Yeah.
it just didn't work out. And she probably realized that, and then that's why she was like, "All right, if I can't find it here, I'm gonna find it somewhere else."
Yeah.
So I would say my biggest problem is I never took anything serious. Um, but now my views on like the long term dating thing is like if it happens for me, it happens, but I'm not looking for it.
No, I hear that.
Now I know what I want in a long term relationship, but it's not something I need, so I don't go looking for it.
Yeah.
Uh,
If it finds you, right?
yeah,
Hmm.
like with her, it was. I know if I was around her, it was peace.
Hmm.
So like that's a big thing for me. Like I want peace. I want good energy because I'm big on energy. If you can just sit in a room with me and just be complacent and we just vibing without
Yeah.
even saying anything,
You have a
like
silence, but it's not an awkward silence, right? It's just a comfortable one. Yeah.
Exactly. So like I think that's what it was for her. It was like we spent a lot of time together and we didn't necessarily have to talk. Like yeah, of course we had conversations and stuff,
Yeah.
but it was just cool to just sit, relax with somebody, and just do things. Whether it was just our homework or like whatever it was, and that part of it was nice. Like building a bond with somebody like that is nice. But now, if let's see, I had a question, but it just
Well, I got one.
okay. Go ahead.
Shoot. So when you're talking about like not taking things serious,
Mm-hmm.
that's one thing I think like our generation as a whole kind of lacks. It's like dating with intention, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because right now it feels like most of the people I know, like obviously there's the exceptions, but I feel like a lot of people I know when I'm around tend to just date just out of convenience. They don't want to be alone. They can't handle being alone, like I said, the way I was
Mm-hmm.
way back when. Um, but they just date to date. Like it's not you're not no one dates anymore for the intentions of building a life together or building a family together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's a gal I was seeing up in Jersey this past year, and so she came from a Jewish background. Ended up she told me the word for it is frying out. So when you if you're raised Jewish and you separate from like the religion,
Mm-hmm.
they say you fried out. So yeah, that was funny to me. But so she fried out, but we were talking about this stuff, and she's like, yeah, I got family that like my brother and my sister-in-law,
Mm-hmm.
like within months they were married, and then they started working on starting that family and having kids, just like that. And it's like
Sheesh.
it sounds crazy, but in the past couple of years, it's one of those things where I realize just like through introspection, like looking around and seeing what was around me too.
Mm.
That love is like a choice, man. It's not. I've realized that love is not a feeling. Like you got that electric, like that lust or like, um, that attachment. Those are feelings and whatnot. But like love is a choice because I mean, you can. The only unconditional love in this world is between like a parent and their child and dogs. That's
Yeah.
it.
Everything
Like
else is conditional.
absolutely. Like and it's takes work, man. It's a choice and it's a choice you got to make and commit to and like really work at it. Because the second you stop working at it, it's
Hmm.
gonna stop going down, man. It's like you're trying to like pump up a balloon that's got a leak in it.
Yeah.
If it's like a hot air balloon and you let off that gas, you're gonna start falling down. And if you don't figure it out in time, you're gonna crash. And
Yeah,
that's it.
definitely.
And you're gonna do some damage that you can't come back from. Um, which is, I mean, it's heavy, but I mean, it's the reality we're all facing right now, man.
Yeah.
But so intentionality.
Hmm. And that's part of the reason I don't take it super serious, because like that's how everybody is.
Yeah,
So if I'm gonna go into a long-term relationship, it's got to be set that this is for the long term. It has to be
absolutely.
known. It's not gonna be just something where we're just hanging out and then it turns into a relationship. Like
Yeah,
I'm gonna be like, all right, what are we doing with this? Why are we doing this? Like I want reasoning behind everything. Because one thing about me is like I don't like to waste time. So
no.
like if I feel like it's just not gonna work or we're not on the same page, I'm
Hmm.
dead in it quick. Like I don't have a whole bunch of tolerance for like just BS.
Yeah,
So if it's just something where we're kicking it and cooling it, and we both know that, then I'm like, all right, whatever. Yeah, I can do it, but I'm not gonna put a whole bunch of time and energy into it. But if we're both serious and on the same page, that's when I'm like, okay, this could be the one. Like let's
hmm,
actually try this. So like lately, now that I'm older and more mature than I was back back then,
I hear that, man. I hear it.
like when because I go on dates often, and it's just because pastime, why not?
Yeah,
But what like when I'm on these dates, you gotta talk about that type of stuff. Like
yeah.
what are you
Setting the
looking for?
expectations.
Yeah, what are we looking for? What is like just pretty much come to common grounds on what is the purpose of this relationship, friendship, whatever you want to call it,
Hmm.
and then from there we'll take it.
Yeah, on that, man. Like so, when I was in New Jersey, so when I got out of the military, I moved up there for a year before I came back down here, and I was dating. I had dated three women up there, um, and one thing I made it a point to do like up front was, like you were saying, like manage expectations, like because I didn't want I refused to like willingly hurt somebody or just
Mm-hmm.
like I'm not gonna lead nobody on because I know how that felt for me. I'm not gonna BS and waste people's time. It's
Mm-hmm.
just I told him I was like, look, I'm only gonna be here for a year. I can't give you a relationship, a committed relationship because one, I'm in a selfish place right now. Like I cannot, I will not stand for somebody, being obligated to my time. Like if I'm doing something, because I'm working 2 or 3 jobs at the time, going to
Exactly.
school full time. Like I don't want no one text me saying, why aren't you paying attention to me? No, because you know I'm working, I'm hustling right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the other thing was like I told him I was like, look, and that being said, like I'm not gonna promise you exclusivity. And now there was an incident in the transition between the first and the second gal that I gave the first one that talk after we had started like hanging out for like a week.
Mm-hmm.
um and then she set her boundaries. She's like, that's fine, like I'm cool, I enjoy spending time with you, but I just, if you're gonna start sleeping around with other people, then I want to know how to respect. Like do not come back and do this with me if you've slept with somebody else. Like at that point it's
Mm-hmm.
dead. I was like, all right, no, I respect that. It's the same thing. It's just like that, communicating those boundaries is important. Like she's one of the two of those three that set those boundaries up front with me too, that like reciprocated communicating their boundaries.
I
um
like that.
it's
I like
refreshing, man,
that.
it really
Yeah.
is. And I can confidently say like the two that did communicate the boundaries back and forth, like we still chit chat here and there, every now and again, and we're on good terms. Like
Mm.
it's a good feeling to like know that you can like get in and out of relationships, even if they don't work, and still be like cordial, still be cool. Someone just realize, hey, like we're just better as friends than we are in a relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got anything on that? Because if not, I got another one to throw back to.
What I have is, so if this is just a question I have just randomly popped
Go
into my
ahead.
head. if you were to like, because we're both on our journeys where we're paying more attention or put more focus on our work and developing ourselves. If you were to find a perfect woman and like add into that you would be willing to fit into that,
Yeah.
what would the envision of her be? Like, how would
Man,
what would make you want to add a woman
Lord.
into everything?
Look, I mean, it's hard to say, man. I mean, like physically, the only thing I got is like I just as long as you're taking care of yourself. Like I'm not asking you to be like, in crazy good shape, but just eat right, take care of yourself, act like you're gonna, you want a long, healthy life that we can raise a family together with. Because I'm doing the same thing. I'm taking care of my body. I'm watching what I'm eating. So I just want someone that can reciprocate that. That's really the only thing physically. Obviously, you got to be attracted to them. So I don't. I got a type, but I ain't that picky, really. Like I find beauty everywhere. But personality wise, man, I it's hard to say because it could change, obviously. But like where I'm at right now, like I think I want someone that would want to be like a stay-at-home mom because that's the reason like I'm hustling so hard right now is I want to be able to make that kind of money that I can and I said this before in my that prior relationship because she's the only one I ever thought about marrying, man. So in that one I was like I gotta make money, serious money, that way she's gonna have the freedom to do whatever the hell she wants to do. So I said I'm grinding right now for that. So if they came around because like you said I'm not looking if it comes to me it comes to me, right?
Exactly.
But I'm almost actively like avoiding it that way. If it does happen, like I know, all right, this ain't a joke. Like this is not a
Yeah, let
drill.
me give this a
Let's take it
chance.
serious, right?
Yeah.
But so in this building phase, like if someone were to come to me like and she was friendly, right? I hate using the word submissive, especially on the internet, but like
Right.
just like cooperative. Like
But I
we're
know
not
what you
gonna be
mean. Yeah.
combative.
Uh-huh.
Like I don't want to have a relationship where I gotta fight tooth and nail to get something done in it. Said I don't mind compromising. So I just as long as whoever I get with is on that same page with compromising, like we're not gonna get everything we want all the time. And sacrifices are gonna have to be made. Someone that ain't materialistic, that's a big thing for me. I didn't grow up with money, so I tend to stay away from the people that grew up with money, just because I do find it to be like a common trait where some people overvalue material things. So I'm trying to think what else. I mean, just realistically, it's just someone that like I personally desire them, and I feel like they desire me as well, right? Just not something that's just like, oh, you're convenient, oh, whatever this and the other thing, and someone that's the other big thing. It's someone I ain't got to worry about, you know, basically just putting themselves out there a little bit too much, being too friendly with too many people. Said I'm not controlling. I used to get jealous. I don't no more, man. I'm one of those at that point now where I'll just walk away.
Yeah.
Said I ain't worried about starting again. But
I definitely feel that.
yeah, so just I guess to sum it up, just take care of yourself. Be friendly. Don't I don't want to come home and start fighting with you. And cooperative. That way we can collaborate and get things done within the relationship, reach our goals. And yeah, that's it. I mean, I know you could branch off into a million different things with each one of them things, but I feel like that's a pretty like reasonable
Keep it
standard
simple.
to have. Yeah.
See, I'm super simple. So like for looks, I'm attracted to whatever. I like of course I have a preference. Yeah, of course I have a preference, but pretty is pretty.
Yeah.
When it comes to, I guess if it's under personality, I want somebody that's gonna be the opposite of me. Cause like, all right, it may not seem like it, but I'm not a huge talker. Like I can do it for certain reasons.
Yeah.
But I don't like I don't want to go out and just be outgoing like most people think I am, which I'm not outgoing at all. So I want someone that would feel that side of me. So I want somebody that'll be the outgoing part of my life, have me get out of my shell. So if if a girl can bring me out of my shell, then that's like like 2 thumbs up because not a lot of people can do that.
Green flag.
So like yeah, right. I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people that I can go out, but then I'm gonna be just chilling. like
Mhm.
while everybody else is having fun until I get drunk, of course.
Yeah, everyone's
But
just
like,
getting wild. You chilling.
yeah, if I'm chilling and we just vibing or whatever, I'm normally the quiet one. I'm chilling. So like, if a girl can bring out the outgoing side of me, that means like she's doing something good.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna do it. I'm not bringing it out for no reason. I'm not gonna go out of my way and make myself
Yeah. No, I
step out
hear
of
that.
my comfort zone. Um, Other than that, I would say, see, because I still haven't quite figured out what I want. So like, it's
Hmm.
not, I'm still not fit. Like I said, I stopped dating
We're
for a long time.
yeah, we're
So like,
flexible, right?
yeah, exactly. So like, that's why once I started dating like I've been dating. Like I said, lately I've been dating
Hmm.
a lot just because I'm trying to figure out what I like and what would match with me perfectly.
Yeah.
So like, I've come across a lot of things I like. I come across a lot of things I don't like, but I haven't found exactly what I like yet. So eventually I'll get there. I'm not rushing it because, like I
Yeah.
said, I have more important things in my life. But if it
Hmm.
happens, it happens because eventually it'll happen. The more people I meet, I'm always meeting people, and yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
I'm very simple at this point. As long as
yeah.
as long as you got a pretty face and you can bring out my like, gosh, I can't even talk today. If you can bring out my outgoing side, my
Yeah.
extroverted side, then it is a go.
There you go. Now,
And then
see, I got a
from
question.
there, is like, all right, let's discover,
Okay. Yeah.
let's
Okay. There
discover
you
what
go.
I like
Explore,
after that.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm running back to the old question I had. So speaking about that, do you feel like you know pretty immediately whether or not you can take someone serious, or if you feel like you're gonna just this is a short term thing? How soon do you know?
See, so for like I said, I don't tolerate a lot. So like,
Hmm.
I like as soon as I start noticing red flags, I'm like, nah, I'm out of here. So I feel like it can be pretty quick, but I
Yeah.
give people chances too.
Yeah.
Because I got to, if I'm gonna figure out, like, even though I don't want to tolerate a lot of stuff, I still give chances. I'm in like a weird part of it.
No,
Like,
I get it.
yeah, so like I give those little chances even if I'm seeing little things. But I would
Hmm.
say on average, like by the second date, I know if I want to continue or not.
It's like,
So
hey.
like I feel like it's super quick because it's like, all right, the first date we're getting to know each other, and I'm
Hmm.
paying attention to everything she does. And
Yeah.
then second, it's like, all right, let's see to make like confirm that the things I'm noticing
Hmm.
are consistent. And if they're consistent and I don't like it, then I'm just gonna be like, all right, nah. And if I do like it, it's like, all right, let's keep going and see where this goes.
Yeah. See, for me, because you give people more of a chance than I do.
I
I use
mean,
Look, me personally, it's usually almost immediately I'll know, because I'll tell you this, like out of the three most serious engagements I've been in, I mean like just relationally engaged, not like ring on the finger engaged.
yeah.
Um, Basically, two of them I knew off rip within like 10 seconds. Like one, literally met her at a party, vibed immediately. Another one
Hmm.
met him on Uvu, vibed immediately. And those are the ones that I tend to like. I invested a whole lot more in. But besides that, like, I mean, you can build things, and this is the again, this is where it comes back to like love is a choice,
Hmm.
because that's why, or like arranged marriages, and that's another thing we can talk about. Is like what the whole point of marriage is, and like duty versus wants and needs. But for me, like marriage, though, I mean, I don't know if I ever want to get married legally.
Yeah.
Legally, man, I don't think anyone on this planet is going to sit there and tell you that they want to be alone the rest of their life. But
Hmm. No, I
I,
definitely feel
I
that.
want a partner, man. I want a partner. I want kids. I want to have a family. But marriage with the government that I love oh so much, it's like fuck the Fed. But
Right.
yeah, I don't like the idea of having the government in my relationship, man.
Hmm.
I don't
I
like them
feel
in my pockets. I don't want them in my relationship.
that. Right.
But yeah, but yeah. So I mean, it's just for me personally, like, and you again, you give people benefit of the doubt. Like
Well,
I
yeah.
can tell pretty quick.
See, I like, all right. So what it is for me
You
is
try to give them
like
a chance.
back in the day, it'd be just like, all right, no, I'm done, like
Hmm.
immediately. But now because I'm still trying to discover what I like, that's why I give a little
Okay.
extra chance. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. No,
Like
I hear that.
if I already knew exactly what I wanted, I would be like, all right, did that, did that,
Yeah.
did that. But like I try to give chances to see like, all right, maybe this is bad with her, but maybe she has something that can, outdo that and then
Mm-hmm.
keep me interested.
Yeah. Maybe the things that you're like, the disqualifiers that you've seen aren't necessarily that bad, or they can be like compensated for.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I mean that's so, and that leads me into my next question because you mentioned it a couple times. Like when you say exactly what you're looking for, what do you mean by like exactly what you're looking for? I don't mean like traits. Like, are you looking for like the perfect woman or like?
See, not necessarily the perfect one, but like she has to have certain things. So like so far, I know I want a girl with drive. So
Mm-hmm.
like she got to match my hustle. So if I'm constantly working, she needs to understand that.
Mm-hmm.
She also has to have her own little thing she's working on. That way, when I'm working, she can do her thing,
Yeah.
and like give me
Something to keep
my
her
piece.
busy, right?
Yeah, exactly while
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing my work. So that's one major thing I like. Let's see. Like I said, the outgoing thing. If you can bring me out of my shell, uh, that's a good thing. What else?
Like, let's put it this way: do you have like non-negotiables?
So yeah, I would say that you got to make me come out of my shell. That's like
You said that a
if you
couple
don't,
times.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you don't have that, then it's not gonna work because it takes a certain person to get me out of my shell.
Well, one of y'all got to be
But
outgoing.
exactly, and
Yeah.
if you can get me to become outgoing too, then you win at the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's like that's probably the only non-negotiable
Mm-hmm.
because like with the whole drive thing, if she doesn't have drive, I want her to at least respect that I'm gonna put my work first sometimes.
Yeah.
So like that's one thing I try to make clear in the beginning. Like, all right, I do a lot of things. Like when I'm not at work, I come home, I'm either learning something to help better myself,
Yeah.
or I'm actually working on my business and like doing photo shoots and stuff like that. So like I want to be able to do that stuff without having interruptions sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So she can understand that and then leave me be for short periods of
Yeah.
time, then that can, like that can work instead of having to drive.
Yeah.
Right.
So with that, right? It's gonna be easy for us to sit here and say it because we're not actively obligated to it. I'm not gonna. I don't know if that's even the right way to put it, but I mean, so how much time are you? Will your partner like have to expect that you'll be busy? Like, how much time do you think she's gonna get? Say in a given week.
In a given week, let's see.
Like, how much time are you willing to give up? From chasing your passion, your goals and whatnot, to make sure she's good.
So what I mean by like, so all right, so we'll still keep contact throughout the entire week. It's not like I'm
Absolutely.
just gonna go ghost and not text you for a few days
Yeah.
or something, or not call you for a few days. But like, I mean, as far as like seeing each other, it's like, of course,
Mm-hmm.
I would say a couple days a week, 2 or 3 days. I
Yeah.
will try to fit some time in, even if it's just a little bit of time to see, like, oh, let's go grab food really quick,
Little
or
date night thing, right? Doesn't
yeah,
have to be like a
exactly,
full
yeah,
blown one, but like, hey, we're
yeah,
gonna
but something quick,
quality over
like of
quantity kind of time.
yeah, so
Okay.
like yeah, one of those days might be all right. Let's have a legit date and let's
Mhm.
spend time together. The others could just be like, all right, let's meet up, hang for a little bit, and then get back to business. So
Okay.
like, but that's just where I'm at right now. In the future, yeah, of course, I'm gonna want to spend more time with whoever
Mm-hmm.
my partner is or anything.
Yeah.
But as of right now, that's where I'm at. To where I want to
On a
focus
mission.
a little. Yeah, I want to focus on myself more.
Yeah. No, I get that, man. I hear that. I hear
Yeah.
that. It's like I said, it's tough. Like it's tough to do. It's really easy to talk about because, like, I think, like I mentioned earlier, like that for me, that was my biggest downfall was not setting aside enough time for her. Um,
Hmm.
and this was the issue. The root of the issue was a joint effort between the both of us. I probably should have at least set some boundaries, but I wasn't. I had no self discipline with this
Hmm.
of how much time like I spent going over there to hang out. Because then like we both got real isolated.
Yeah.
But like I said, then I got into college, but I still had like social circles and whatnot that I was forced back into when I was doing work or I was going to school or doing this and the other thing. Whereas she kind of just got like left in the dust socially. which was like it was unfair to her. And if I could have seen that coming, you know, I ain't no one perfect, but if I could have seen that coming, I definitely would have handled that differently. But yeah, it's definitely like the time management, and you know, while like you said, I don't think, and I'm gonna say this because I believe this is how women feel too. They will probably never want you to, or never tell you, but I don't think a woman ever wants to be your number one priority. And I say that
Yeah.
from experience and from hearing about other people's experiences too. Anytime that I have put my partner first in life, ahead of my goals, ahead of my dreams, ahead of my responsibilities, I have found myself in a position where they got no respect for me, as they shouldn't. All right, there's no desire, and everything just falls apart
I feel
every
that.
time. So like, and I think I can't remember what the book was. There's a guy who used to be a dating coach, Jason Capital. I already told you about him, but or you already knew about him. But yeah, so he mentioned this book that talked about like human psychology and how we always have to have something that we're aiming at. It's like the targeting system in the brain. If we don't have something we're aiming at, like we like cease to exist. Like we just can't function. Everything starts going wrong. But and I think the reason for it is, I mean, that's the targeting system for the woman is, you know, she always wants to compete with your mission, your goals, whatever. Like the things that you're doing that she respects you and like wants you for, she's always going to want to compete for it. But I don't think she ever really ever wants to win, because
Okay.
it's one of the things where, you know, she might say she wants to be the number one priority, but
deep
in
down,
my
it's like,
experience, I've never ever had a good outcome from doing that.
no, and I see that. I feel like I've experienced that before, and I'm just now thinking about it. I'm like looking back at past relationships. I'm like, or like the past girls I've messed with. I kind of notice like if I put too much emphasis, like focus on them, then that's when crap
It's
went.
interest, right?
It went the wrong direction. So yeah, I kind of understand where you're coming from for that.
It's a tough lesson I learned, man.
Yeah. See, now you got me thinking.
Yeah,
Because I'm
no.
like, because like there has been times where I put too much focus on a woman and it just messed everything up.
Yeah,
So
it's I don't know. And again, it'd be nice to have, we have to get a woman on here at some point so we can get the female perspective from it.
oh yeah,
But because
definitely.
it's gonna sound goofy just us going back and forth about two dudes talking about how women think. I mean, we obviously we have
We
to
don't know
understand
it.
it, but we got to understand it to a certain degree.
Yeah, but we won't completely understand it.
Yeah, no. So like I said, it'd be nice to have like a counter perspective on it. If anyone is down in the future, hit us up. We'll make it happen.
Yeah, maybe to help me realize what I want.
Yeah, right.
Because like right now, we can all tell I'm just going with the flow and trying to figure out. So
Bro, nice
that's
phrasing.
it is. But I'm gonna figure it out one day, and that's what I'm be set. I'm gonna know. All I know right now is the guidelines I'm going by. I gotta have my time. Gotta have me getting out there and having fun, and yeah,
You know
that's
what I
all
think
I
is gonna
need to
happen to
know.
you?
What?
You're gonna get blindsided. You're gonna be on your grind. You're like, all right, you're gonna be in a position in your life where you're like, no, I am not having a relationship, and then the one is just gonna pop up.
No, that's probably what's gonna happen because I'm
Right?
at that point. I'm at that
You're gonna be
point.
like, God, damn, bro, I was just
I'm at
about to
that point
get
now.
going too.
Yeah, I am at that point now. Cause like recently I've been, I've had a thing with a few different girls and like it's I don't know. I feel like it's because I was trying, it didn't work. Like I was trying but not trying. Like it's weird. So like I'm still trying to put focus on like my business and stuff, but I'm also focusing on trying to add that aspect to my life, which I shouldn't be because yeah. But now after the last one, I'm just like, no, I gotta focus on myself. And then yes, I'm still gonna go date, but I'm not. It's just more for the social part of it at this point. And then if something blindsides me, then it is what it is.
Yeah. Say no. I think we're on the same page where we'll gladly accept it into our lives if it's the right time or the right person.
Yeah, but I'm not looking for it.
Yeah.
I just go on dates for fun. I still gotta
See,
get out there and have fun.
You know what the problem is when you go looking for it though? You settle every time.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah,
When
you gotta stop.
a lesson that you'll probably you probably identify with is that I had to learn to be at peace being single, like being alone, get comfortable
Mm.
being lonely, basically, right? Because it's not. I hate saying lonely because while it
I
does
mean,
get lonely at times,
it's not really lonely though.
yeah, I'm at peace being just
Yeah.
doing me.
Uh-huh.
So, and I don't think that you can necessarily have like a healthy relationship unless you can get to a point like that. Because if you're not chill being alone, like you're like, if I need a relationship, like I can't handle just being by myself. You, I was talking about compromising. You don't compromise in the things that matter. That this for like the character traits that someone doesn't have. Like, you know, what I was talking about. I'd be like, all right, I'll put up with someone that's argumentative all the time. Like I go out to work. I'll go, go to school for however many hours I'm there, then go to work for 8 hours, and then come back and try to chill with you, and then I'm over here. Like, why are we arguing about this?
Mm.
Or whatever it may be. Like, it's just you're gonna start to settle on everything and all the stuff that matters to you, and that's where you end up having those toxic relationships that you draw out because like the time investment trap. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So you put a certain amount of time, and then you're with them for a couple months, and then you start seeing red flags. You ignore them for a little bit. Then by that time, a year goes by, and you're still with them. Well, that's you look down for a second, you look back up. Y'all been together 5 years. You're about to get married, or you're about to be on your second kid, and you're just like, this was not the person I was supposed to be with. And I think that's what ends up happening with all these like single parents around here nowadays.
Yeah. That's why the kid thing is off
Yeah.
for me right now. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not trying to have one anytime soon, even if I'm in a relationship,
Mm-hmm.
because you never know what's gonna happen with those relationships, and
Yeah.
then boom, single parents. You gotta figure out a way to co-parent, and I'm trying
Yeah.
to. I'm not trying to deal with that. But when
No,
you were talking, it just reminded me. Earlier this year, I had a thing going on with this girl, and it was one of those times where I was like, all right, let me look past some red
Mm-hmm.
flags, which I shouldn't have, but it turned bad quick. So this with this specific girl, I was like, all right, let me actually try. And it goes back to the putting
Mm-hmm.
the focus on her, and it just messed it
Yep.
all up. So we were having I don't know if I'm gonna speak on because she'll probably be able to figure it out. I feel like she still watches all my pages and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. So I'm not gonna say specifics, but we had certain problems, and we communicated about them. And then I would try to change, and I would actually act on it. That's the thing. If I
Mm-hmm.
if I say if I say I'm gonna change, I'm gonna act on it. And even though I was acting on it, she would just find more things to pull up. And like, all right, now what about this? And
Mm-hmm.
it like it was I was never doing good enough. So it just put me in this loop of like, all right, let me keep doing this so I can. I was changing to somebody I wasn't when I could have easily just said, nah, cut this and find somebody that took me the way I was. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But that was on like for months and months, and we just kept having it like we'll argue, stop talking to each other for a week, and then find each other hanging out with each other again. It was it was bad, but
Yep.
after I realized, okay, I need to stop putting energy into this toxic negative mess.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I finally was like, I'm done with this. I don't care. She got angry, whatever, blah blah blah,
Yep.
and then it eventually ended. But it was like I put too much energy into it and just completely ignored the red flags, and
Mm-hmm.
it didn't work. I can't believe I got to the point where I was trying to change.
Yeah.
I
And
was
look
like it
for
was bad.
for the ladies, any of y'all watching this, let me give you guys a quick heads up and a little pro tip for dating. All right, don't ever try to change a man because you can't change him. Right? Maybe if you're enough of a catch, he might kind of acquiesce a little bit and
Compromise
change
a little
for you.
bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's compromising, but if you look at a dude and all you're trying to change everything about this man, just give it up. Just say, hey, look, we're not the right fit. Move on to the next one. Save both y'all some time and some heartache.
Mm-hmm.
Because me personally, I'm a firm believer in that people don't change until they have to. Like, for me, when I was in my slumps, like when I hit my rock bottom, it was either, give up and fade away into nothing or, pick myself up and work and build myself back. But it was never like when I was just, I had my head, slightly above the water, like I was living paycheck to paycheck. I was doing okay, like nothing like serious happened. It's not
Mm,
until you have like a real like traumatic event happen, whether it's emotional, mental, like losing a family member, something, whatever it is. Until you have a traumatic event, I feel like people don't change for nothing else.
yeah,
Like
I can
people can
definitely see that.
grow, but
But you
who
won't
you are
change.
as a person, you don't change.
Hmm.
And I think that's a problem. Like a lot of people have like fallen in love with the idea of somebody too.
Yeah. See, like, all right, so I'm glad we're doing this episode because the more we talk, it's like I'm realizing more about myself,
Hmm.
and it's like okay, like we of course we already just discussed that I'm not the like long term relationship
Yeah.
type. Uh, well, I'm kind of transitioning into it. Like I know eventually I'm gonna start wanting something like that,
Yeah.
but I'm I'm learning. So I'm learning that I need to dive deeper into like how the whole relationship thing works because I'm more about to go out and have fun and do it, do all
Hmm.
that stuff, and I'm realizing that I don't know anything, and it's crazy.
It's it is tough. It man, it's one of them things like and we mentioned it earlier, man. Like I think the whole single parent situation, like these broken homes that we all been growing up in. Like I
Mm-hmm.
come from one of them. I'm speaking from experience, man. I think I would have done it would have done me a lot of good if I grew up in a place where I could watch, both my parents together in a healthy like relationship. Now, I was fortunate enough I didn't have to watch my mom and my dad be in a unhealthy relationship. They just never really were together. So I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have to deal with I don't know if maybe that would be worse if they were together and unhappy or what. So it's hard for me to speak on that stuff. But no, it's just we don't have enough good examples, man. And I think it's like it's a real shame because kids are gonna grow up and just it's one of the things monkey see, monkey do. Like
And that makes sense because
so.
that could be what it is because I never growing up I didn't see a good relationship
Hmm.
like so that's probably why I never really was into having long term things. It was
Yeah.
just more like, okay, we're something for right now.
Yeah, just flings,
And
right?
then yeah, exactly. And then I would just move along and I never
Hmm.
knew how to approach it the right way.
Yeah.
Um and I know now that we're doing this episode, I wanna actually learn how to approach that stuff the right way. I would like find examples of good relationships. Uh That's I'm thinking now. So like
Hmm.
now there's a whole bunch of so I can't really when I get things going in my head, it's hard for me to like spit it out,
Well,
but it's getting
go
my
ahead.
brain moving.
Yeah, I'll tell you this, man. And look, this is the only name drop I'm doing this entire episode, man. Matt and Rose.
Yes.
That that is the I think the only and the longest relationship that I have like in my life. I was there for their first kiss,
Same.
and we are now at I. It's probably been a decade by now. What was that? That was freshman year.
Yeah.
So what? 2011. It's been more than a decade now. They've been together,
It's crazy.
and
Yo,
it's
that
like,
is crazy.
man, I remember when it all started, and I was fortunate enough, thank God I got to go to their wedding and watch that, because it'd been a long time coming. But
Yeah,
shout out to
gosh.
them, and it's like,
Hmm.
I would love to get them on here one day to talk
Definitely.
about like what it's
Speak on
like
that.
to really make a long lasting healthy relationship.
Yeah, that way I can learn something. They can teach
Hmm.
somebody that just knows only about flings.
Hmm. Man,
Because
I can't brag about them enough, man.
yeah,
Honestly,
shoot.
because in this microwave culture right now, and this is what I was gonna get to before too. I feel like when it comes to the unhealthy relationships versus like the healthy ones, not seeing healthy examples of it,
Hmm.
I think one of the issues that we have today is that social media only ever portrays the good parts of the relationship.
That's true.
You never hear about the negatives until after the fact because everyone cares so much about making sure that people around them think that you're in this perfect relationship, you guys are so happy together, and you're going to get married one day, when in
Hmm.
reality, outside of that, those couple of likes you get on that picture, y'all go home and you guys are arguing about this, so who talked to who was flirting, who was posting this, who was, doing whatever, being unfaithful, lying, whatever it is, all that stuff going on behind the scenes that when we're looking at it on IG, we don't get to see none of that. We just think they got a picture perfect, situation.
Mm.
We don't get to see the struggles and the tribulations and whatnot that these relationships go through, and the ones that are like that do last the test of time. We don't get to see what it looks like for them to handle it in a healthy manner either.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know how we get around that. I mean, without just straight up just saying people be more realistic and stop like, I mean, do you stop posting the good, or do you post the good and the bad all the time, and then you got everyone in your relationship? Like, I don't know
Mm.
what the winning formula is there. Well, first of all, I think the second one's actually no, don't do that.
Yeah.
But I
if
just,
I feel like it should be a private thing.
yeah, I'll
Like
speak
you should,
personally. Go
yeah.
on, sorry.
But like I feel like that type of stuff shouldn't necessarily be on social media,
Hmm.
but in your circle. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? So like, yeah, it's okay if you have close friends that know like what's
Hmm.
going on, but I don't know. I'm not big on because I don't share a lot about my personal life.
Hmm.
So that's where I stand with like relationship wise. I wouldn't share
Yeah.
if you
Uh,
got me.
no, I'm the same way. So, I mean, recently, man, the last three relation or dating relationships I've been in, it was all of them. I told them I was like, for the most part, like, I mean, one of them was completely out of any social group I had up there, so it wasn't a big deal. But
Mm-hmm.
first, I was like, this is as low key as we can possibly keep it because I don't want nobody in my business. I don't want nobody asking me questions. I don't want no one
Mm-hmm.
harassing you about stuff either. So that's a big thing. Another big thing is, and I got a friend who's going through some stuff right now that we were talking, and she handled this thing the perfect way. People often make the mistake of, when you're in a relationship, venting about your relationship struggles to people that are around your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You, I think, and this is what I've heard from a lot of other much wiser people too. You should have one person that has minimal contact with your significant other that you go to about all the negatives in your relationship. Because it's fine if one person don't like them, but if you're complaining or venting to all your friends about them, because we don't vent about the good things when everything's going great. We don't vent about like all the great
Yeah.
stuff our partner's doing unless it's like way over the top, right? We don't vent about like the little things like, oh, they made the bed for us this morning, or they brought me a little like bouquet or whatever. They did this little thing here, little thing there that just made me happy, right? We don't talk about that stuff to people,
Mm-hmm.
but we are so quick to complain about the things that like hurt us or piss us off or whatever, and it ends up being like a magnification, or like just it gives all the people that you vent to a reason to hate your significant other. And then any time that you start complaining about something serious, first thing they're going to tell you is leave them, leave her. Why are you still with them?
Yeah.
And there's no one, none of them push you to fight for the relationship no more. Now, granted, there are some things like, put it this, like if you get monogamy and polygamy, I don't know where I'm at on both of them, but what I do know is that if I get with someone and I say that, hey, we're exclusive, I'm gonna say exclusive, and I think that
Mm-hmm.
that's where people fuck up in a lot of like when unfaithfulness comes into the picture. If you don't want to be monogamous, then don't promise someone monogamy, man. Just own it up front, take it on the nose, and say, hey, look, I love you, I want to be with you long term, but I want to be able to do this or I want to be able to do that. Like,
Mm.
give your partner a fair shot so that he or she can say, I'm okay with this or I'm not. And that's a big thing that people fuck up too. It's like there's no transparency, there's no communication, or there is, but there's not nearly enough.
Mm.
But yeah, that was a good little rant.
Yeah.
Got on my soapbox,
Yeah, right.
but
So, like, all right. So right now we're at a point where we know, as far as like long term relationships, I
mhm.
don't know shit. So, with that being said, I know I need to learn more about that stuff. Um, I'm probably gonna experiment with that and get myself out a little bit more and
Mhm.
try things. But let's move over to like the short term thing, like
Okay.
straight
Yeah.
dating and go live life because that's mostly what I do. I don't
Gotcha.
go into meeting women and be like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna marry this girl.
Yeah. No, and I get that. So
you know,
only thing I want to do up front is clarify the terminology we want to use here, okay?
okay, yeah,
Because
let's
I've
do that.
had people, and I think you and me are on the same page with this, but I've had plenty of people sit there and get, start arguing with me about, oh, that doesn't mean that, that doesn't mean this. No, it's so for me, there's like talking where you guys are just like socializing, you guys are around each other, whatever, you're acquainted.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this is in the short term. So you guys are just acquainted, right? You might be flirting, doing whatever, but there's nothing going on. And then you've got dating, which is you guys are actively going on dates.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're going and making plans together, hanging out outside of your typical like realm of encounters. And then you got relationships, which means that you committed. Like, you know, you got whether it's a title or whatever, you guys are just committed. And then that's obviously the top of the mountain past, you know, engagements and marriage. But those
Yeah,
three things
we're on the
people
same
always,
page.
yeah,
Yeah, so we're on the same page with that. Like what when I say dating, yeah, it's the middle stage.
hmm,
So like it's not talking, but like actually actively dating.
gotcha,
I do that a lot
yeah,
because I'm trying to get to know everybody, and one day I'm gonna come across whoever is my like soulmate or whatever you want to call it, or twin flame, but so many different names for it.
yeah. You got to take a shot though. Like if you don't give someone a shot to like to get to know them and maybe find out if they might be the one, then
Mm-hmm.
you're never gonna find them.
Then
So it's
exactly.
important that you do it that way.
That's why I give everybody chances.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I'm learning uh what I like and what I don't like. So that's why when it comes to dating, I'm all over the place. Like I meet girls everywhere. I try to go out do different things to meet different women.
Hmm.
So my thing for you, like my first question when it comes to like just dating, not the long-term stuff,
Hmm.
meeting women, right?
Yeah.
Where is your go-to? So like where would you want go if you were,
Ooh.
is it more of like let me go to a bar, or
It's
are you just like it's random, like no
is it are
specific?
we talking? So are we talking where I'm not even thinking or considering long term?
See, so for me, I just go into it with no goal whatsoever.
Yeah.
But I would say for right now, the question with no intentions long term. It's
With
just kind
no
of,
intentions long term, the club, the bar, perfectly fine for me.
and then okay. So if you were like
Looking
had
for something
intention,
long
like
term.
let me find, yeah.
So this isn't something I have actively started doing yet because,
Hmm.
like I said, I'm trying to focus on me right now. But
I feel that.
someone I saw, whether it was on a YouTube video or a podcast or something the other day, someone said that you should look for people in the places that you would want your significant other to be at. So, like, if you want someone that's like a nature, you know, geek or whatever, not disrespectfully, it's
You
just it's
said
the word that came to mind.
yeah.
You know, someone that loves nature, right? You know, go camping, go hiking, you know, see if you run into someone on a trail or whatever, right? If you like someone that likes to read and do whatever, go be in the go check out the library, go
I'm
check out
always
Barnes
in
and
Barnes and
Noble.
Nobles. Yeah.
Yep. So like they said, look for these people in places where you would like them to be at, which
Mm.
is not in the club if you're looking long term, because let's be real here, people in the club are not usually people that are looking for something long term. And if you're in the club, what are the odds you're gonna find someone that's thinking, I'm gonna find my wife in here? Or you're thinking,
Right.
I'm trying to take you home tonight and never talk to you again.
Exactly.
Like that's I think you got worse odds than a coin flip at that point.
Hmm. Okay, I was just trying to see if we're on the same, because pretty much the same as what I would say for both situations.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm even when I'm just going out and about, like let's say the Barnes and Nobles, I'm not, if I'm talking to a girl and I introduce myself to a girl, I'm not necessarily thinking, oh yeah, let me
Yeah.
try to make her my wife. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I just talk to talk.
just dipping
If
a
I'm
toe
being
in, you know.
honest. Yeah, and see where it goes. I'm just like, all right, look, YOLO, what's the worst that can happen? She's gonna say, oh, leave me
Hmm.
alone. Okay, then I'll walk off.
Yeah,
But
be all right.
yeah, I was trying to see where you were at with that.
Yeah. No, I mean it sounds like we're on the same page with that. But I and you know what's funny? So whereas you used to be like, or you don't have too much experience long term, right? You
Yeah.
got the one, but you got a lot of short term.
Oh yeah. It
So
sounds bad, but
no. But so what I'm gonna get at is that's the thing though. Like we balance each other out here. So in high school, I think like before the military, I think 90% of the time that I was in a relationship, it was split between two girls, right?
Mhm.
One of them was, you know, for about like a year and a half. The other one was for that 5 years and some change, right? So there was like some short term things here and there. Nothing was ever too serious, right? There was always drama, but so it was all long term back then. Now, for me, since then, everything's been short term. Now, part of that has to do with the military, right? Like, it's tough to be in a long term relationship when you are going to be moving around every 2 years.
Yeah.
So that was one thing that was limiting me before. That, but Jersey, same thing. Like, I had the plans to leave. Like, if I had met Mrs. Wright somewhere,
Mhm.
like, she would have had to be willing to come down to Virginia.
Yeah.
Like, and to make that kind of commitment, like, in less than a year, like, that just didn't seem fair for me to ask anybody. Like, I would never ask anyone that. And I told actually all the girls, I was like, look, I would never once in my life dream of asking you or telling you that you got to move down to Virginia.
Mhm.
So, which is why I'm not gonna, set this up to be a long term deal. And I told him, I told all of them, I was like, if if you find yourself catching feelings to where you think that you're gonna change my mind about the longevity or the nature of this dynamic we got, be honest with yourself, be honest with me, and we'll call it quits before you get hurt. So I was like, I'm gonna be
Mhm.
okay, and I told him like basically verbatim is what I told him. I was like, I'll be good. Like I'll get over it, even if it hurts me at some point. I'll be all right. Been there, done that, recovered just fine. But I can't be sure about that for you. So like I need you to be responsible for your own feelings, your own emotions and well being and whatnot,
Mhm.
and communicate with me what's going on. That way we can take care of you. And needless to say, I mean, all three of them got to that point. Cause and again, I'm gonna say this another one to the ladies. Please do not tell yourselves a lie that you can just hook up with one dude for a
And not
long,
catch
extended
feelings.
period of time and not catch feelings. You guys are not
Yeah.
built for that,
At
and you
all.
shouldn't be built for that. All right, it's
Uh,
not. It ain't a fun time,
and
right?
it's crazy because a lot of them think that. I've heard that so many times, and
Yeah,
I've had to cut it off because
yeah.
they started. I'm like, look, I told you in the beginning,
Hmm.
and now is yeah. So a lot of y'all think y'all can do that, but it's
Yeah.
mm,
Like I said, I mean, two of the three of them, like we caught it in time. We were able to just maintain a friendship. One of
mhm,
them, she went too far off the deep end, and yeah, we don't talk no more.
mhm.
But yeah, it's just like, and she was like, yeah, like I just got out of a serious relationship, and I don't want anything serious anyway. So it's like this is perfect. And I'm like, you say that,
Yeah,
but
but
it's not gonna go that way. And
yeah,
sure enough, it didn't.
mm, it's
It's
crazy
almost
because
like I
I've
know what
heard
I'm talking
it's
about.
right. I've experienced this before. I know,
Hmm.
like, because it's happened a couple times for me, and
Yeah.
then it's like I got to cut it off completely. Like I don't even talk to those women no more. It's like because even if you say, all right, we're dead in it, like all right, we stop everything,
Yeah.
but we still talk, they still keep those feelings. And they're not just gonna go
Hmm.
away because y'all stop, being involved with each other.
Yeah.
So like I
See,
know cutting them completely off.
now this is where I started getting into like sticky territory here.
Hmm.
Now, do you think it's? I guess it's like a twofold question. Do you feel it's your responsibility to make that decision for him?
What like the when to cut it off?
Yeah, like if you feel like someone's getting in too deep and like the feelings aren't reciprocated, so you need to cut it off for them, like in their best interest.
I mean, I take it as my responsibility
Okay.
because like let's say I see these things happening and I'm like, all right, she's catching feelings, and I keep it going. That's kind of
Hmm.
like leading them on, and I don't want to lead anybody
Absolutely.
on. So it's like, all right, if I see it and we already established, like, all right, this isn't gonna be
Hmm.
nothing, and then I start seeing the feelings, I'm like, all right, we talked about this in the beginning, and
Hmm.
now I see that you're feeling a little more than I am.
Yep.
So like,
Have that talk.
yeah, you gotta have that talk and be like, all right, this is something that it has to stop before, you know,
Hmm.
you get to the point where you're hurt, and then
Yeah.
I'm a good person. I'm not trying to hurt anybody on purpose. So it's
No,
like I
same
gotta
thing, man.
immediately cut it off. So yeah.
I hear that. No, that's been my biggest thing, and I told my little cousin this too. Um, I'm gonna get to the little cousin in a second here, but no, it makes more sense right now. So I told her I was like, look, like she got out of a 2 year bad relationship. The kid was like controlling. He was mentally, emotionally abusive, whatever. So she went from that. Then she found a good guy. Good guy kind of did the same thing that you and I did, being overly attached, overly like her centric, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that led to the end of that. But then she started doing this dating thing. She got into her little hot girl summer. And I was like, look, all I'm gonna ask you to do is you can try to find yourself what you want, but don't go fucking other people up in the process,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like you want to find yourself, you want to explore, get experience, figure out what you want, what you don't want, but like in the process, don't go leaving, don't be the bulldozer in the town, just wrecking everything along the way because you're like, it's about me. Nah, like consider other people's feelings and be like, look, just be at least be honest with them. Said you don't gotta always be, you know, like politically correct. You ain't gotta always, pander to people. I'd almost say never do that actually, but like just be straight up, be honest, be straightforward, and give people the chance to engage with you on like level ground. I think that's like the biggest thing.
Okay. Okay.
I hope that
So
made sense.
yeah, yeah. So let's see. So we talked about both sides of like the long term versus
Short term.
just short term, right?
Yeah.
So if you were to give anybody advice from going from like only flings and they're trying to get to something serious, what kind of advice would you give them?
Be sure about it because relationships are one of them things you can't half-ass ever, right? Relationships are, they're exhausting as much as they are like fulfilling. Like, you're not always gonna be on your best day, and your partner's not always gonna be on their best day. And some days you're gonna have to step up sometimes and pick up the slack in that relationship. And it's gonna weigh on you occasionally. And like you guys can go through your lows, you can go through your highs. But like you got to be sure that you want it, like because you can't. It's kind of like how we started talking about this, like the whole intentionality thing. Like, be clear about it. I was telling a friend the other day. I told her, I was like, when you go on these dates with these dudes, all right, you're not you're too pretty to get rejected to go on a date, right? So you're always gonna get to the date. You're not like a guy that has to like play the game just to get the attention for a little bit.
Yeah.
Like you can legitimately just sit there and disqualify people off rip for whatever. Like, but so I was like, and these are things that are not unreasonable. Now tell me, if you're not in the right headspace, it's gonna be off putting, it's gonna scare you away, right? If I ask you these questions, or if you
Mm-hmm.
ask a woman this question, do you want to get married? Do you want kids? Where do you see your life going? All this stuff on the first date. Do you think that's too soon? For where you're at right now, do you think that's too soon?
For like me personally,
Mm-hmm.
um, I would bring it up on the first date just because I know if I'm going to take a girl serious, I need to know exactly what it's for
Mm-hmm.
because I'm busy with everything else. I don't want to be like, let's say working on a project and I'm also thinking about like, oh, I don't know what this girl wants. Like, I don't know if it's worth putting extra energy into or not.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to be I want it to be a sure thing. It's like if I know they're
Absolutely.
looking for a long term thing, then I'm willing to work towards a long term thing. But if I'm not sure whether they want to or not, it's like, are we on the same page? If not,
Mm-hmm.
then I don't want to
Right.
keep going with it.
So yeah, so like someone like you, or even me at this point, where I'm looking for, if I'm engaging in something, I'm almost always gonna want it to be long term, right? If it's with the right person.
Mm-hmm.
So I told her, I was like, look, that's a great way for you to filter out like the fuck boys and the bums and the losers that are just trying to get your pants. Like, first date, tell them what you're looking for. Be like, look,
Mm-hmm.
this ain't no game. Like, I'm trying to find my husband, and eventually that's gonna, like I said, you're gonna make that left, swipe left, swipe right kind of deal. Where if they're not down with that, they're gonna swipe themselves left. The
Mm-hmm.
guys that are actually around trying to have something serious are gonna swipe right, and you guys can go on to the second date and continue to like basically qualify them as the potential like father to your kids.
So that's
Or
kind of what she was like. She's trying to find something serious. Is that what it was?
yeah, yeah, no,
Oh,
actually
okay. So,
she's the gal I told you about, like amazing woman, right?
mm-hmm.
Said she deserves the world. Like if again, like if I wasn't, if I didn't know where I was at right now, because like I said, I don't think I can give anyone a decent relationship right now.
No, I feel that.
So, but yeah, no, like she's fantastic. Like I could line up a whole line of dudes down the street that would be lined up trying to talk to her. That sounded terrible, but like
I know what you mean.
there would, yeah, there would be a line on the door, putting boyfriend applications in.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's say just all that to say, just be intentional. Like know what you want, know what you don't want. You can date and explore, and what you might find, like for you personally, like Omar, is like when during your dating, like you might find the right person that comes with what you used to think were all the wrong things. but it turns out that they're actually the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Said because there's been plenty of people where like I thought I knew what I wanted, but they come in a much different package, but it still works.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you're gonna find your non-negotiables, red flag, green flag type of deals.
Oh yeah,
But
eventually I just gotta get out there and do it more. Cause
yeah,
like now, right now, I'm still at the point where if I'm meeting a girl, it's not necessarily to, for a long term relationship. It's just kind of like, all right, let me
hmm
stick to what I do.
yeah.
But like I'm adding that in more. So like if
Well,
I
you,
meet somebody that's has my interest, then yeah, I'm
mhm,
gonna, start trying to figure out if it's gonna be a long term thing or not. But for the most part, I'm not going after every girl like that.
yeah,
Is a you have to have certain things that pique my interest
yeah. Well, you
before.
just you casting the hook, fly fishing right now, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just seeing who bites, and
And then
then
yeah, depending on what bites, is like, all
if
right,
the fish
we'll
is
see
big
where we
enough,
go.
you can keep it. If it ain't, then you just toss it back.
Yeah, like I take my picture. And
Someone's gonna clip this.
then
We're gonna get fucked up for this, man.
right. I mean, it's nothing. I don't think it's anything wrong with that.
No,
It's like
no.
it's.
I mean,
I'm
you
just
can't.
testing the waters
You have to socialize with people, right?
to
To
figure out
be
what you
able
want.
to find some like you can sit there and swipe left and right on Tinder all day, but unless you actually engage with people in conversation, like
Mm,
there's nowhere it's gonna go ever.
yeah,
Yeah, so it's pivotal to do what you're doing. It
yeah.
really is.
Because I'm learning to be open minded about everything. Because I feel like I could have been had this experience in the past, but like I said, I shut myself off for the longest, and it was just only like flings and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
didn't when I met a girl, I wasn't thinking, oh, let's make it a relationship. It was just like, all right, let's have our little fun and do whatever, hang out, be cool with each other, but I'm not taking it serious. So I never thought of certain things. Like I never thought of like, oh, like a year down the road where we see ourselves. Like I just wouldn't think of things like that because that wasn't where my mind was. It was just like, all
Yeah.
right, I'm just having fun, enjoying the time, and then whatever happens, happens.
No, I hear that. Like, and I had my same phase like that too, man. I mean, it was primarily in the military because that was my rebuild phase. It was my 4 years active duty, and it really gave me a chance to hit that reset button and figure out who I was again. Because I joined the military to get out away from that old relationship. I
Mm-hmm.
talked about in the last episode, but basically I lost completely lost who I was. Like I didn't know who I was anymore, and I had to rediscover myself. Throughout the 4 or 5, past 6 years basically now, and I've been getting out there doing all types of different stuff, saying no to like very few things. Like I'm just trying to get out there and test the waters on everything. Whether it's
Mm-hmm.
experiences, people, food, yada yada yada, whatever. Like I'm trying to try to all find out what I don't like, what I do like. And honestly, like if you had not known me, or if you knew me back then and you met me now, I'd still be the same person like at my core, but like what I do in my life, you wouldn't recognize me.
Yeah, no, that's exactly how it is for me. Because
Yeah.
like I feel like in high school and like the first part of college, I was always just trying to impress people. Like I wasn't myself. I would do things to make myself seem cool or
Mm-hmm.
try to get
Trying to be
attention from
popular.
people. Yeah, exactly. And that just wasn't who I is. Like, dang, my grandma just left me, but
No, I got you.
that just wasn't who I was.
Yeah.
So like now I'm okay with just being myself, and I'm learning to show myself and not try to be somebody else. And
Absolutely.
like that, like a lot of people that knew me back then and like I come in contact with now, and they're like, oh, you've changed. I'm like, no, I didn't change. I'm just being myself
Mm-hmm.
now.
Right.
So it makes life a lot less stressful when you're not trying to be somebody you're not.
Yep.
So
It's
like, because I was never the outgoing person, but I put myself out there, made myself
mhm.
uncomfortable, trying to be cool. And yeah, but now that I've gone through everything I've gone through, like it's a big difference. So
Yeah.
I understand what you mean.
Yeah. And I do that 100% agree with you the same way. Like that was we both had the same high school experience, man. Like I was not I was doing everything to try to make everyone else or to gain everyone else's approval in
That's
high
exactly what it
school.
was.
I was trying to be a part of every different social group that had a completely different values and whatever, different ways like
Mm-hmm.
we act around each other. And that's a quick way to lose who you are as a person.
Yeah, exactly.
Is to spread yourself so thin, trying to get so many different, people's approval that you ain't you no
Mhm.
more. And it
Yeah.
was I can't tell you how much better my life is now that I know who I am, and like I don't filter anymore.
Mhm. See, and I wish I would have realized and stopped trying to be somebody else a long time ago. Cause like now I still feel like I don't really know myself. I'm still learning about myself.
Yeah.
But I know that I'm not going out there trying to fake it anymore. I'm as real as I could be. Like
Amen.
yeah, so since I've been this way, I've gotten more attention. That
Hmm.
way like people are like, "Oh yeah, I actually F with you." Like
Yeah.
you're actually, they don't have to like you don't have to deal with the fake being fake and stressing
Hmm.
yourself out. And then I'm still getting that attention that I wanted back in the day.
You know what it is?
It's being genuine. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, with it,
Authenticity is contagious, man. Like it
yeah.
draws people in like a mosquito catcher, and
Hmm. That's
it's
exactly what it is.
and one you keep like people that don't line up with you, that don't
Hmm.
mesh well with you, that you keep them away because you're not gonna just let them in for nothing.
Hmm.
And two, you find like I think it was Simon Sinek that was talking about the red hat idea. It's like with your reticular activating system. It's whenever something's on your mind, like you will identify that thing out in the world way more often. Things that
Hmm.
you were never noticing before, but they were always there. It's just when it's occupying your brain. So when you start thinking about what's important to you, you start noticing people that also find those things to be important to them. And that's when
Hmm.
you end up like you can find some pretty solid people to fill your circle with.
Yeah. And now that I think about it, it's funny because like if we go back to like the whole dating subject,
Hmm.
how we started the episode, when I was trying to always get approval from everybody and trying to be cool in order to like date or whatever,
Yeah.
like yes, I had some success or whatever,
Yeah.
but when I really found the success is when I started being myself. Like me being myself now, I've like met way more women, though, way more women than
Mm.
before. Because like in high school, I tried so hard. Yet I let's see, in high school, I probably only messed with like 2 or 3 people. Two.
2 or 300.
No, two. And you know one of them, but I'm not bringing any
Mm.
names. You could probably guess who I'm talking about. But yeah, but once I started, being myself is when people really like women really started fucking with me.
Hmm.
And nah, I was like, dang. Now I'm thinking about, I'm like, why wasn't I myself a long time ago? I would have had a
Right.
way happier,
If only we knew, right?
right?
Could have
But
got a head start.
yeah. But you learn from experience, and like I wouldn't change it. You know what I mean? I wouldn't go back and
Absolutely
be
not.
like, hey, dude, just be like this, like, cause I learned from it. So,
Yeah.
and I'm big on like learning the hard way. So I definitely learned the hard way. Don't try to fake it.
And
Like,
I feel like that's the
be
only way I ever
yourself.
learned. I'm
Yeah.
I'm trying to change that up a little bit and start, being more moderate with that where I can learn from other people's mistakes too.
Yeah.
And I've gotten better about it in the recent years, but man, before then, I think it's that like the kid syndrome where you just think you're invincible because you've never had no one's ever like knocked you down a peg or two.
Hmm.
Life hasn't put you on your ass yet.
Yeah.
It's you just think it's like, "Oh, don't put that fork in the socket now. What's he gonna do? Shock me?" And then that's when you do
And
it,
then
and you're
you
like,
do it.
"Oh
And you're
shoot, that
like,
hurt." It's like when your mom tells you the stove's hot, don't touch it, and you're like, "Is it?"
yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, nah, it's that's a it's the rough way, but you never make that mistake again, right?
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
That is the longest term lesson you'll ever gonna have in your life.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely need to learn from others' mistakes and stuff like
Amen.
that. Learn from others' experiences.
Yeah,
Uh, but
it's
like I said, I wouldn't go back and change it.
yeah, it's what's the saying? It's a smart man learns from his own mistakes, and a wise man learns from others.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I heard that a long time ago, but I just never incorporated it to my life.
Mm-hmm.
I was still learning the hard way. I would just do things like,
Yep.
dang, maybe I should have listened.
Yeah. I mean, like it's one of the things that you learn in time where you stop being so what is it? There's risk averse, and what's the other one? You know what I'm talking about, right? Just being
Yeah.
open, like being okay with taking risks, and then being risk adverse. Like,
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
when you get older, you start to lean more towards risk adverse. You start taking people's word, at face
Hmm.
value a little bit better, and it's just a lesson you learn in time, man.
Yeah, definitely.
But shoot, we've been going for a minute now. Man, you want to wrap it up,
Yeah.
or you
So
got more? If you got more, let's keep rolling.
we can wrap it up because
All right.
at this point, like if we recap everything,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know shit about long term. You're the long term guy. Like
I'm still
we're
learning the short
opposites.
term.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we're opposites. So we need to get up on that.
Yeah.
It's gonna get to the point where I'm gonna learn a little bit from you. You can learn a little bit from me, and
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, like I said, I'm still trying to figure out what I want.
Yeah.
So I'm still
What
in the
else?
game on. I'm trying to be in the game on both sides.
There you go. And then intentionality in your
Yeah,
dating.
being you
If
gotta
you're
be
looking for
straightforward,
something, if you're looking for
direct.
something long term, just be upfront, like you're saying. Be straightforward. Be upfront with what your intentions are.
Mm-hmm.
Because now for the dudes, if you're just trying to get if you're trying to get laid, just
Be
be
honest,
honest. You might
bro.
come along.
It works if you're on
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of
Yeah.
times I feel like a lot of guys they're like, okay, maybe if I play it off like yeah, let's do
Mm-hmm.
this long term thing, bro. It's gonna you'll be surprised. I'm honest all the time. Like I'm direct about it. Like
Mm-hmm.
if I just wanted to be a fling, I'm gonna let you know. And if you say no, then on to the next one. Like,
Yeah. Saying and man, women appreciate the hell out of you just being straight up with them, like
oh
not trying
yeah,
to lead them on or try to play them like that.
you know how many I have. Oh, I appreciate you being so honest. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like, all right,
Like,
cool, let's roll.
let's
Yeah. So
let's get to business.
yeah, but yeah. So intentionality, like we've been saying, figure yourself out. Be okay. Be at peace. Be content being alone before you
Mhm.
try to go find somebody so you don't end up settling. What else? There's at least 100 different lessons in there, man. But
Yeah, we went
mm,
off on like
nah, but
start
it's
talking
been
about,
good.
but no, yeah, we just started going off on other things but yeah, yeah,
This did not go anything like I expected it to.
yeah,
Like that whole
at
little
all.
roadmap I put together just went screw it. I told you we were
Right.
just better off free flowing it.
Because I started realizing I'm like, I don't know
But
anything about this long term stuff.
yeah,
So
but
like, yeah, it
all
had me
right.
thinking though.
Yeah, but all right. Before we keep rambling, let's
Yeah,
wrap it
right.
up. If I forgot to say in the intro, guys, but if this is your first time, make sure you like and subscribe. If it's your second time, third time back, give us a like, please. Help us bump up in the algorithm. Right, we're gonna try to get this thing rolling. We got good conversations, good guests, good topics coming through.
Oh yeah, we gonna bring some good guests up here.
Absolutely, we got another one coming this weekend. We're gonna have Alex and Devon coming on, talking about some good stuff. That's coming this way. Make sure you comment down below. Let us know what else you want to see. Follow us on IG, follow us on Facebook, whatever we're on. Right, we're getting there. But hit up Omi's Creations, peep the hat.
You're
Yeah, go check out his man's photography, man, and his marketing too. If you got marketing
yeah.
needs.
I'm about to shoot a video and everything.
Yeah, but yeah. All right, hit up that like and subscribe, and come back for the next one, guys. Peace.
Deuces.